We here at the Movie Ticket Radio podcast salute all the YouTubers who do all their videos because, I found out this is a lot of work. Hi, I'm J.R. Russ, and we're posting our podcasts here now just for more people to find and hear them. But, John Landecker and I are pretty much radio guys. In fact, folks have said that we have faces for radio. That means no pictures, no video, no graphics, just this. So sit back and enjoy the oral experience, spelled A-U-R-A-L. That means sound, not what you're probably thinking.
Movie Ticket Radio.
And welcome to the Movie Ticket Radio podcast. Yes, that's our official name, and thank you for joining. I am your host, J.R. Russ, with
your friendly co-host, John Records Landecker.
Yes, career broadcasters, and he's Mr. Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. And, of course, we have the Movie Ticket radio station that you can go to at movieticket.radio.com and hear the hits you hear in movies. And this here is a podcast where we're talking about the movies. We might play a little snippet. We're not sure if we can get sued yet, so just stand by and see if you hear it. But we're talking about the songs that you hear in movies. And, John, what are we going to talk about today?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Ooh, a fave. That was a great movie just a couple of years ago, 2019, a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Great music in that movie. Tarantino had an unbelievable playlist.
Lots of music.
Yeah.
And lots of other things, too. I did a little research here. I know it's hard to believe I actually did some show prep, but I kind of try to group some of this stuff together because otherwise it was very disjointed from the list I had. Mm-hmm. And I think the most often heard song in the movie was, can you guess?
I am totally stumped.
93 KHJ.
That's not a song, it's a jingle.
It was written by Johnny Mann.
That doesn't make any difference. That's not a song.
I was at a jingle recording session in Memphis, Tennessee, and they had a full string section that they were recording the orchestra. And believe me when I say it was like a little 5-second song.
I understand all of that. And he uses them in the movie all the time because they turn on the radio and he's got KHJ jingles, KHJ disc jockeys from the 60s who called themselves the Boss Jocks, which I never understood what that meant.
That meant good.
I know it was a term, but it never made it to the Midwest. I don't know what a boss jock is.
Well, they didn't care. It was in Los Angeles. It was Boss Radio.
Boss Radio.
Hey, man,
yeah.
That's pretty boss. You're a boss jock. That's a boss car you got. The Mustang Boss 302.
I'm not a boss. I'm an employee. So, it's employee radio. Yeah.
Okay, but then I guess you're not going to count the Screen Gems logo written by Van Alexander either.
Please, come on, JR. This is like nitpicking to the extreme.
Well, the reason, because he used so many TV clips in there. He's got the Mannix theme. That was Lalo Schifrin, who also wrote Mission Impossible.
Well, now, wait a minute, though. Some of these were released as singles.
Right, like the Neil Hefti's Batman theme.
They never pressed the KHJ jingles into an album or a 45, at least not for public consumption.
Okay.
So.
All right.
I mean, how many movies are we going to run into anyway that have radio station jingles in them?
So I think you should just count this one. But you know what? I'll rest with you and say, okay.
Okay. We'll just have to agree to disagree.
But I'm going to play it anyway.
We play it for you on 93 KHJ.
Because you had a song called The Rocks, which was the theme from Have Gun Will Travel.
Yes.
There was actually a couple of songs from that show. The Return was another, like a musical.
What was that guy, Richard Boone? It was Richard Boone.
Yes.
The actor was Richard Boone. Have Gun Will Travel.
I wonder if he was related to Daniel.
Or Debbie. And I think he also had a business card.
Yes. Very unusual for men of the 1800s.
Here's my gun. Here's my horse. And would you care for a business card? Jeez. All right, let's get to some songs here. Come on.
All right. So if we go past the theme from It's Happening, sung by Mark Lindsay, I might add.
Yes.
And also the FBI TV theme and Funky's Fanfare, whatever that was called. We get down to
Give me the hits, baby.
the hits, nothing but the hits. How about this one that was not a hit, but I guess it was a single, I'll Never Say Never to Always.
Never say never to always. I'll never say always to none. To seem is to dream a dream I love. 'Cause one is one is one.
Who sang that?
Written and sung by Charles Manson and the Family Jams. I'm not kidding.
Charles Manson sang that?
There's a Charles Manson song in there. I guess he did a song.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if they just played it in the background or where that
Yeah.
was, but I looked it up
I'll have
and
to
it was
hear
it's on YouTube.
Does he sing it?
Yeah, and this part gets really weird. Listen to these lyrics.
It's time to call time from behind you. The illusion has been just a dream. Valley of death and I'll find you. Now is when on a sunshine beam. So bring only your perfection, for their love will surely be. No cold pain, fear, or hunger. You can see, you can see, you can see.
Do you hear him in the middle of the song stamp his forehead with a swastika?
Yes, I believe you do.
That's a collector's item.
Yeah. In fact, there was another hit song, speaking of Head, Treat Her Right, written by Roy Head and Gene Kurtz.
Now listen, let me tell you, Treat Her Right is one of the great tunes. And they get into the car in the very beginning. The first time they get into a car, they they start the car, they turn on the radio, and bang, here comes, dun, 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 dun. Let me tell you my method. He is so cool. Was so cool. Roy Head. I don't know if you've ever seen him on any of the YouTube stuff dancing. This guy was a cool dude. I'm telling you. And I love Treat Her Right. Love it.
A couple of my favorite things, of course, sax and violins. The old jokes are the best, aren't they?
Yeah. Wanna practice my method as long as you can. You get a loving woman. Something like that. Hey, hey, hey. Da-da-da-da. I'm sure everybody loves hearing me do that. Now, how about
yeah.
The Green Door.
Well, I guess that wasn't really a single, though, because Leonardo DiCaprio performed it.
But it was a single by Jim Lowe, whatever his name was, Jim Lowe, right?
Yeah, yep. So
That's a song.
hit song, yeah. But
Green Door is a song.
we reach our first bona fide hit here with Mrs. Robinson, written by Paul Simon, of course. So Simon
Yeah,
and Garfunkel,
of course.
the
Everybody
huge.
knows that.
That, of course, also from The Graduate, right around the same
Right.
time period, 68,
Yeah.
69, I think.
Yeah.
Joe Cocker's version of The Letter.
With Mad Dogs and Englishmen.
Yeah, written by Wayne Carson Thompson.
And a great version. I was interested in seeing how they were doing this. Okay, they get in the car, they start the engine, the radio comes on, KHJ jingle, Roy Head, and then as they drive in the car, in this one drive, I think it's in this car, or maybe it's when he drives the Carmen Ghia, it's a blue Carmen Ghia, you hear in one trip down Sunset Strip or wherever it goes, you're hearing Summertime by Billy Stewart, Joe Cocker, The Letter, Bob Seger, Ramblin' Gamblin' Man, and The House That Jack Built by Aretha Franklin, all one right after the other in this, like, it can't be more than 60 seconds or 90 seconds worth of screen time.
Yeah, everything just cut together. The music is telescoped. That's how DJs get jobs.
Yeah, but he's listening to, allegedly, supposed to be listening to these things on the radio.
Well, that's because it's all hit Boss Radio.
All hits 93 KHJ.
That's what this movie has. It has radio, music, and California. That's what it's got. And cars. I'm sorry. It's got radio, music, and cars.
Who could ask for anything more?
MGBs, Carmen Ghias.
The Coupe de Ville.
Yeah, exactly.
That was good
A
stuff.
very cool movie. Where are we now?
So you mentioned Billy Stewart.
Yes.
And, that was written by George and Ira Gershwin.
Well, that's an old song. You can hear Billie Holiday doing versions of that. You can hear Janis Joplin doing versions of that.
Yeah.
But you don't hear them going or whatever.
Now,
I just killed myself doing that.
you could very easily strain a lip.
Easily.
So then we got a song called Hector by the Village Callers. I'm not familiar with it. Probably.
I checked out who the Village Callers were, and I believe they were a relatively well-known Latino band in and around L.A. at about that time.
Okay. And I read some things that Quentin Tarantino wrote about this, and this is a lot based on his youth in Southern California. So,
no doubt.
like we mentioned, Lakeshore Drive, if you were around Chicago, you knew that song better than other people in the country in Guardians
Right.
of the Galaxy, too. Then we had MacArthur Park, but not the... who had the hit?
Richard Harris.
Yeah. And Robert Goulet did it, so could you MOR at middle of the road it anymore? And I interviewed Robert Goulet once. Very nice guy, but just that was when AM stations still were stuck kind of in the 60s, and they didn't want to really play rock and roll, so they would play rock and roll songs sung by more adult crooners.
But they still left the cake out in the rain.
They did, and it was pretty bad because how do you bake that damn thing?
That's going to ruin that cake, I tell you.
I remember this song just from the commercial. Paxton Quigley's Had the Course. And that was from a movie 3 in the Attic, written and performed by Chad and Jeremy, Chad Stewart, Jeremy Clyde. And I remember the commercial only, hearing it for this movie. You never hear the song on the radio anyplace.
Paxton Quigley's had the course, and he's feeling kind of run down. Paxton Quigley's had the course, and he's feeling kind of slowed down.
Right.
I think somebody said, Hush, which brings us to our next song,
Don't you hear me calling my name now? Hush.
Deep Purple.
Hush.
And who wrote that
Yes.
song?
Joe South.
Yep.
And it was originally done by Billy Joe Royal.
Really? Of Down in the Boondocks
Yes.
fame.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to another one of those done by Deep Purple, Kentucky Woman, which obviously was written by Neil Diamond.
Yeah. That's kind of an odd song for them to do because they were such hard rock.
Well, have you heard their arrangement?
Yeah. That's pretty hard
It's
rock.
not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
But I mean, it's kind of a lighter song.
Son of a Lovin' Man by Terry Cashman and Gene Pastilli, performed by the Buchanan brothers, who are Terry Cashman and Gene Pastilli. And there used to be a third one. Cashman, Pastilli, and West were the producers of Jim Croce.
Really?
Yeah, I knew them
Did you?
in my days in Philly. Yeah, very nice guys.
One of my all-time favorite songs that I played as a turntable hit, only I called it a stiff because really I was the only station that played it, was called If You Were a Rainbow by Cashman and West.
If you were a rainbow, I'd love all your colors. I'd be an artist, painting pictures of you.
They did a bunch of baseball songs too.
Oh, did they do that talking baseball thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Medicine Man. They had a song out called Medicine Man. Not in this movie, but by the Buchanan brothers.
Okay. Yeah, they were good. Good writers. I think they wrote a lot more hits than they probably
Yes, they did.
produced.
And producers,
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing.
said Paul Revere and the Raiders.
Taking us to our next song.
You know what's so cool about that is during the movie, they come into wherever Margot Robbie is living, and they actually show the cover of the Paul Revere and the Raiders album and the vinyl going around on a turntable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
I mean, that's what we call respect.
It is. Very,
Yeah.
very good tie-in.
Good thing.
Then an association song, which was not a big hit, but I always liked it, Time for Living.
Yeah. Time for Livin's not bad.
And that was written by Richard Idrisi. And do you remember the Idrisi brothers?
We got to get it on again.
Yeah. That was a good song. I think they were just a one hit under their own name, weren't they?
I believe so. Yeah.
Maybe they had some hits on urban radio or something, but
And then, you know, if it wasn't great enough for me watching this movie and hearing these soundtrack songs that he selected, I mean, he hit the nail on the head for a couple of my favorite bands. Paul Revere and the Raiders, he did Good Thing. He also did Hungry, which was written by Barry Mann and Cynthia Well, who also did, way back in the day, Who Put the Bop in the Bop Shabop Shabop?
Ooh,
Who Put the Ram in the Ramalama Ding Dong?
age-old questions.
And no one's ever answered that question.
No. But if I could find the man, I'd like to shake his hand.
Yeah, I'd like to thank the guy who wrote the song. Okay.
All right.
Shut up,
yes. We charge extra for singing.
Yeah, I know. Copyright.
Joni Mitchell's song, The Circle Game, I don't know, sung by
Yes?
Buffy
Oh, no.
St. Marie.
It's a great song.
Is it? I've never heard it.
Oh, no. It's a very good song.
Let me put a little in here.
Yesterday a child came out to wander, caught a dragonfly inside a jar.
Sorry, not a big fan. Not into the warbling of the voice. And she wasn't like a huge star.
She was known, sort of like in the folk circle.
Right.
Whoever those folk were in the folk circle. Don't know.
Yeah.
And then, if Paul Revere and the Raiders wasn't great enough, we get Mitch Ryder and the Detroit friggin' Wheels doing Jenny Take a Ride.
Yeah.
Man, I love that song.
And Bob Crew of the Music to Watch Girls By fame co-wrote it with Antonis Johnson and Richard Penniman.
Oh, then we have
Can't Turn You Loose.
by Otis Redding, but performed by Wayne Cochran and the CC Riders. Have you ever seen them when they were around? Wayne Cochran?
Yeah, not in person.
The hair on that guy? A pompadour.
Very stylish.
Yeah. I don't know this next one at all. So.
No, I'm kind of thinking it was we're talking about Mexico Western by Francisco de Masi, probably another Hispanic song from Southern California.
Right.
That
I would
Quentin,
think so.
Quentin remembers. I asked him if actually I asked his people if he would appear on our show today, and I got a polite hell no.
What a surprise.
Well, what's he doing? He's got nothing going on right now, does he?
Of course not.
He's probably not producing. I haven't heard about a new movie coming out, so hey, you can check it out. I did see a piece on the production of this movie when it was coming out, and he had a woman that was a friend of his and like a musical director, and she had this huge record collection, and they showed her with all these albums strewn out around her living room. And apparently she picked out some things for this movie after reading the script and talking to him.
Oh.
And was playing samples of the songs for him to see if, what about this one at this scene and those kinds of things. It was pretty interesting.
That is interesting.
I was trying to find that piece again so I could give her name credit, but I cannot locate it, and I didn't see anything that indicated that in the production credits in the movie, like musical director. So sorry, but if you know, movieticketradio@gmail.com, you can write to us and we'll put it in a future episode.
Then you get Soul Serenade, written by Luther Dixon and King Curtis, performed by Willie Mitchell.
And of course, the reason I really put this in was I love their record label, courtesy of Fat Possum Records.
You gotta love a record label named Fat Possum Records.
Oh,
Yes.
man. And then we had Bring a Little Lovin' by Los Bravos, which did Black is Black.
Yes.
I think I read just recently somewhere that said the most white version of a song called Black is Black.
Oh, let's not go down the racial road.
Yes.
Then you get
One of my all-time favorites.
Brother Loves Traveling Salvation Show.
Yep, Neil Diamond wrote it,
Yeah.
sang it.
Yep.
Great song.
Love it.
He would start out so mellow, and then when he got screaming, like I guess the Traveling Salvation Show would, he just screamed his brains out at the end of that song.
You're right. A Salvation tent show would be very loud.
Yeah. Then D. Clark. Hey, little girl.
Hey, little girl in a high school sweater. You can't record that song today.
No. Otis Blackwell and Bobby Stevenson probably, they'd be in trouble today.
I think the next line is something like, gee, I'd like to know you better. Oh, no, you won't.
No.
No, no, no.
Keep driving. Here's a song that I did see that Tarantino knew and liked from hearing, and it's Victorville Blues. And I'm going to play a little piece of that one because I thought it was blues, and it's not. So check this out.
Okay.
Not really bluesy, but very Western and foreboding. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't bring the blues to my mind.
So I just happened to hit that, and it was
Yeah.
another Southern California hit. And then we skip over the Dalton Gang entrance, which is, I just thought I'd throw that in, like, where the hell is that from? And I think it's from a TV show or a movie. But we go to Mr. Sun, Mr. Moon, Paul Revere and the Raiders,
Sung by Mark Lindsay.
written by Mark Lindsay.
Yeah. Mr. Sun, Mr. Moon, another one of my favorite, but Paul Revere and the Raiders songs, but doesn't get played that much. I don't think it did as well as the others, but I really like it.
And another song from another movie, Don't Chase Me Around, from the movie Gas, ! Or It Became Necessary to Destroy the World in Order to Save It. A 1970 movie.
That's the name of the movie?
Yeah. Kind of like Peter Sellers' movie Failsafe, or How I Love to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb.
Well, no, Failsafe was a movie unto itself.
Right.
About bombing New York in response to bombing
Oh, yeah.
Russia. It's a great movie.
It's
but I think
a
his is,
thriller. And the president was George C. Scott, who played Patton.
No, Henry Fonda.
Oh, no, yes, you're right. You're exactly right. Yep.
It just
Scratch
happens
that.
to be one of my favorite movies, so
Yeah.
I know that one.
With who was
Yeah.
the translator, the Russian translator?
They got JR from Dallas. What was his name?
Larry Hagman.
Yeah, because that's the interpreter. Yeah.
Well, Buck, I'm about to blow up New York City and the first lady's there, so how about you and I go out tonight and look for chicks? And well, I also think from I Dream of Jeannie.
Exactly, yes.
That was Dr. Strangelove I was trying to think of.
All right.
Here's another cover of a big hit. John Phillips, Michelle Phillips wrote it.
California Dreamin'.
Yep. But Jose Feliciano's version, which was a little more mellow.
Excellent version. And then Mamas and Papas come right back with 12:30 Young Girls Are Coming to the Canyon, written by John Phillips and performed by the Mamas and the Papas.
And then we've got another Mexican song there by Bruno Nicolai, Un Humo Clamato Apocalypse, I think. I think it's the climax of the apocalypse, or the end of the world, or something like that. Or perhaps it means, I've heard of the drink Clamato, but it will never cross my lips.
I think it's very cool that Quentin Tarantino, in his effort to recapture the zeitgeist, or whatever you want to call it, of Southern California music and radio in that era, included the Spanish-speaking bands, because that's always been a part of the music world in that part of the country. You know,
Yeah.
Richie Valens and all that stuff. Very cool.
Yeah, all of the influences there that I'm sure
Yeah.
took place, because when they played those songs on the radio to try to get the Latino listeners to listen,
Sure.
people
Sure.
would hear that were, let's just call them straight ahead musicians, and they would pull those Latin influences in, and just you'd hear a lot of different things. So yeah, very, very cool. And then also a little Italian influence with Dynamite Jim, another song I found. I'm going to play a little here.
Oh, Jim. Jim. Jim, Jim, dynamite the Jim. Who's got this that you'll see tonight? Jim, Jim, dynamite the Jim. I can think of seeing you walk in your pride.
That's your James Bond / Matt Helm / spaghetti western / hullabaloo song.
Yeah.
A very weird song. And then we got two more left, one in the movie and one not in the soundtrack. Vanilla Fudge, your love for the heavier sounds.
Yeah, you keep me hanging on.
Holland Dozier Holland.
Originally done by the Supremes.
Yeah. And then the very wacky Snoopy versus the Red Baron. Now, here's a movie with those two songs back to back, or not necessarily back to back in the movie, but
The Royal Guardsman.
yeah. And apparently a favorite of Tarantino, and he wanted to include it in there because it was out in that time period.
Yeah, he has Tarantino, a very eclectic, wide-ranging musical taste.
Yeah, and you hear that in Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction and so many of his other ones.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll be doing a
Yep.
few more, looking at a few more Tarantino movies as the podcast progresses, if we think we want to keep doing it.
Sure we do.
And the way that we'll keep doing it is if you keep listening. So please let us know your thoughts, won't you?
Exactly.
Once again, our email is movieticket.radio@gmail.com. Don't forget to check us on the internet for streaming Movie Ticket Radio 24/7 at movieticket.radio.com, and it's on TuneIn and the podcast. Of course, if you're listening, you know, but if you're telling friends about it, it's now available on like 13 different platforms like Pandora and TuneIn and Apple and Google. So we're getting out there in the world, much like a virus.
That's one way to look at it.
Yeah. So, hey, thanks for listening. I'm J.R. Russ.
Yes, sir. I'm John Landecker. See you next time. Or we don't see you, but be sure to listen next time.
We'll imagine you
Yeah.
naked.
No.
Movie Ticket Radio.